So on the first scramble, I got a 593, and the cube shape was right 5-1 and line. And so I traced even, and so for even, I typically just set it up in a scallop kite. And so the way I did that was pretty much I just misaligned the 5-1 like so, which then left me with one slice of scallop kite. Next, I have this one slice EO. Pretty easy EO. And then here, I see that there's an adjacent back here. And then here, if I misalign the bottom and do a J from the bottom, I'll get adjacent adjacent. And everything's aligned already, so I just have to do adjacent adjacent and finish off with adjusting the U and D layers. And so that was a pretty straightforward solve. It was also a really nice solve because it was 20 slices and 3.37 slices per second, so pretty good start. So on the second solve, I got a 780 and my cube shape was shield and scallop. So first of all, I held the cube like this and I traced odd. So to solve the odd alg, I'd leave the shield aligned the way it is and I just solve scallop like this into the front. Next, I have this 2-slice CO, which could easily be done by simply just doing a slight misalignment with the top layer and solving like this. But instead, I kind of wasted a few moves by doing sort of like a U and a D2, and then another D2, which definitely slowed me down a little bit. But regardless, I ended up with this 1-1 EO, which I just solved like so. And here, I could have done this PBL in 8 slices. It's a 2CP PBL. Pretty much, I can just, first of all, I'll move the J perm so that the bar's on the side, like so. And then the U perm, misaligned like this. And if I do JJ, I'll get JJ again. But I ended up not doing that. Instead, I just did a D2, and then I did a J on bottom, and then I did a U perm like this, which was 14 slices rather than the 8 that I could have done. So definitely not the most efficient solve, but the turning was pretty good. So a 7.8 with 27 slices was 3.46 SPS, which was definitely pretty good turning. But you know, it could have been a faster time if I had done it more efficiently. So on the third solve, I got a 636, and right off the bat, it is a pretty easy scramble as it's simply fist. And so after I was able to trace odd, I still had some time in inspection, or I wasn't really timing inspection, but like I think I still had a decent amount of time left. So I ended up trying to predict CO, which actually wasn't too hard. So pretty much I just solved cube shape like this, and then I predicted CO. I knew that there are 2 black corners down here and also one back here, and there's obviously this one up here, so then I can pretty much just solve a bar here and then just do a U and a D2 and bring that bar up. Next, I have a really easy 4-slice EO, and here I paused a little bit. I think I might have done something like a D prime D, just because like I'm so used to holding like adjacent swaps into the back like so, just because I don't get JN as often as I get, you know, JJ, if that makes sense. So I ended up pausing quite a bit before I did my JN alg, and then I just had the good U perms. But something else I could have done was the 2CP PBL, except I'm not sure if this is the best thing to do because I'd have to do like a U and a D2 first, and then I'll misalign this A perm and just do JJ, and I'll get JJ again. I didn't do that. I just did, you know, JN into 2 U perms, but I did have quite a big pause right before doing CP. So because of that pause, I think that kind of ruined the solve. It was a 636, which is definitely really nice, but it was something like 18 slices and 283 SPS, which definitely isn't ideal, but you know, good time, so not complaining too much. So on the fourth solve, I got a 604 with square fist as my cube shape. So first of all, I held orange in front, and I traced odd. So odd is the good alg in this case, and pretty much I just set it up into pawn kite and just solved shield square like so. And it left me with the CO skip, which is pretty lucky. And then I just did my regular EO alg like so. And here, this is similar to one of the solves from yesterday, I think. Because I can, once again, I can just do a D2 here, just do JJ, and I'll get NN. But once again, I didn't really do that. I guess part of why I didn't decide to do that is because the bar wasn't flipped, and so like once I do JJ, it would be NN with the bar flip, which is, although it's good in terms of slice count, it is somewhat awkward to execute. So I went with the less efficient solution, but sort of the faster solution in terms of turning speed, if that makes sense. So I just did JJ here, and then a U-perm on bottom, which was just adjacent twice. And so because of the execution of that CP and EP, it was a pretty nice solve. It was a 604 with 397 SPS, which was like 24 slices. So definitely not the most efficient, but the really good turning made up for that. So I can't really complain about this solve. So the last solve was in 825, which actually, after going through the footage, I realized I actually misscrambled, but it was still the worst solve, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But I guess I'll just go over the misscramble and also what I theoretically would have done on the real scramble. So here's the misscramble. I'll just put it up on the screen so you can follow along. And so the case is shield fist, and I traced odds. So first of all, I just rotated the cube, and I just solved pawn into the front like this. Next, I have this 2-slice CO, which is pretty easy, just like that. And now I have 3-3. And this is where I messed up pretty badly and also started locking up really badly. So here, the best thing to have done, without a doubt, or at least what I think would have been probably the best thing, was to do JJ. So first of all, I'm going to align this, I think it's a D perm or something like this. And then I'm going to leave the J perm, this case, the thing on the bottom aligned, so that I can preserve this sort of opposite thingy. And so doing that will leave me with opposite, which is just a 3-slice EP. But instead, I ended up misaligning this, and then I got opposite adjacent, which is a lot worse. So I did the alg, but I ended up locking up like really badly on it. And so because of that, it was something like a 24-slice solution with 2.91 SPS. So I definitely could have gone like probably accounting low 7 if I had done the right solution. And so it would have been a much better average because this counting 7.8 and the 6.7 average definitely didn't do any good. So yeah, so that was my solution on the misscramble. So this is the correct scramble, and I traced even. And so first of all, I'm gonna hold the cube like this, and to solve the even alg, I'd simply turn it. I'm gonna move this L over and turn it into 4-1-1, and then solve pawn like this. Next, I have this 3-slice CO, which I can just solve sort of like this. Next, I have 3-3 for EO. And okay, this is actually pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna do JJ into the I-dredge. So that's a really self-explanatory solve. I feel like I should have gotten also probably something like a low 7, maybe even sub-7, which would have probably meant, somewhere around like a low 6 average, which would have been really nice. Unfortunately, I misscrambled, and even with the misscramble, I did like a really bad solution that really costed me a better average. So regardless, I'm still pretty happy with this average. I was able to get 2 counting low 6s. I think if you like take the SPS of all 5 solves and take the mean of that, it was something like 3.31 or something like that, which is slightly better than average, I think. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the 4th episode of Daily Sub-7s. Today I got a 673 average. Once again, I keep saying this, but please just give any feedback that you have in the comments below. I know the comments keep turning off just because YouTube's new policies or something that keeps automatically disabling them even after I enable them back. So I'm really working on that. I'm trying to make sure that the comments are allowed. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.